Hello, everybody, and welcome back to FOD Shorts, the podcast of the terrestrial radio program Freedom on Deck, heard on 94.9 News Now and Stimulating Talk. And if you want to check out our stuff, go to freedomondeck.com. I am me, Chet Martin, and as always, the fearless one, CV Burton, is with me. CV, how you doing, man?
Pretty good, and it's a pretty good day for shorts over the last couple of days. I mean, the weather's been so freaking hot.
Oh, it's the humidity. It's been so brutal, and
Yep.
it's been miserable. I can only imagine what it's like out in Arizona. I've heard, and with all the wildfires going on, and of course our prayers go to all those people out in California. But so anyway, we've got a good show coming up for you folks. Everybody's talking about what happened with Alex Jones and InfoWars, CV.
Yeah.
Now, I'm sort of a fan of Alex Jones. I've never been a real listener to his program. I have shared information that comes from InfoWars. I even do it on Freedom on Deck because, you know, they share some valuable stuff. He's a bit of a controversial character. Yes, I understand that. There's some things over the years that I haven't approved of that he has said.
Yeah.
But for me, this is a question of our voices in the conservative community being quelled and our First Amendment rights being stomped on, because once they start with Alex Jones, they're going to come for us next, or they're going to go for Michael Savage next, or they'll go for, you know, Rush Limbaugh next, or you name it. This is the tip of the iceberg, CV. Do you agree?
I agree to an extent. I mean, I think they've already tucked us under the rug a long time ago. You know, when we're not in the public eye as much as somebody like Alex Jones or Gates, what's his name, in Congress, and other people who have complained. Donald Trump Jr. was also shadow banned or something from Twitter. But, you know, these are high-profile people, and it's harder for Twitter and Facebook and YouTube to knock them down, because then there'd be a louder outcry. But for people like you and I, who are you know, trying to climb up that ladder, you know, it's easier to knock us down where nobody can, you know, not that many people notice. And that's what's been happening with the shadow banning. Actually, shadow banning is actually worse than just them coming right out and saying, all right, we're not letting you on our platform at all. You know, with shadow banning, it's more sneaky. It looks like you're on, and it looks like you have an account, but nobody sees anything you say.
Right, and for an upcoming conservative show like ours, or a podcast that somebody has, and like I said before, for those of you are listening, we're an FM show that's actually on a CBS affiliate.
Yeah,
out in Connecticut.
We're fortunate in that way.
Yeah, we're fortunate, and it's crazy because you know, our show's heard in Connecticut, Long Island, and Rhode Island on a CBS affiliate, and we've gone down the line of some controversial topics. But you know, you make a good point, because when you get shadow banned, if you're an upcoming show like ours, which has only been around for it's coming on. Yeah, it's coming on to 3 years now. You just jumped on board this year, about a half a year ago.
I think on April Fool's Day.
Yeah. But the thing is, if you shadow ban a young upcoming show, they kind of go nowhere. You know, you have to work twice as hard.
Right.
And you know, we have gotten some results, but the issue is for a lot of the podcast communities that are out there, and all that stuff. I think that matters. But getting back to Jones, Twitter actually put out a statement that they're not banning Alex Jones. I don't know if you saw that or not.
Yeah. Not overtly.
Not overtly, right? But anyway, they said they won't take him down, right? Which is what all the other social media giants have done. It's just straight up taking Jones down.
And they're just doing that for publicity. They're trying to look like they're more fair than everybody else, when actually Twitter is actually the worst offender of our First Amendment.
That's what I was thinking. I was like, this is bizarre for like the worst offender out there. I think it's up in the air between Twitter and Facebook, but I mean, they're both on the same lines as each other.
Yeah, I think they're all equally bad. I mean, really, but go ahead.
But they put an interesting statement out, and I'm paraphrasing him, but Jack, the owner of Twitter, or the creator of Twitter.
Yeah, the limp-wristed
the limp wrist.
Tyrant.
Socialist there. He said, yes, we're going to allow Alex Jones to continue to promote his brand on Twitter, but if he violates our guidelines, we will take him down.
Yeah.
He is not. One interesting thing he said, and I'll give him some credit for this. We have to give credit where it's due. He said he has not violated our guidelines, so we will not remove him. So even though I agree with what you're saying, at the same time, they did say that he hasn't violated their standards, so they're not taking him off.
That doesn't really mean anything to me when they say their standards and their guidelines, because, when I signed on to YouTube and Facebook, I kind of like read through. I can speed read a little bit, like skim through their guidelines. I don't recall them saying if you're a conservative Republican,
no,
expect not to be seen or heard by anybody. And the only thing they say is if you threaten anybody or harass anybody, that's a violation of our community guidelines. But I never harassed anybody or threatened anybody with violence or anything like that. So why am I being picked on?
Well, I use a separate account because my first account has been banned so many times. I haven't even checked on it, CV. I don't know if I can go on it or not. I probably can at this point, but I don't bother, right? Yeah. So, but when I created my second account, I actually made sure to read their standards. And in nowhere in their standards does it talk about not being able to promote political activism, or even to the extent of hate speech. What you would say is hate speech or uncomfortable speech, which the First Amendment covers.
Right.
They don't even mention that.
Not only that, but even if they did mention it, what the hell does that mean? Hate speech. Hate speech would mean anything that they want it to mean. Anything they disagree with is hate speech.
Well, that's what's happening here, though. But you're right; it's not in that contract that you agreed to. It's not there. So it's not like they have a leg to stand on. Right. But these are privately owned companies that have gotten so big and so. I mean, they've painted the corner in the market. I mean, if you are a conservative social media outlet that somebody started up, like Gab or like MeWe or some of these different outlets, you can't make an app because Google and Apple aren't going to allow you to, man.
Yeah, that's right. Gab cannot get an app. You're right.
And if you don't have an app, guess what? You might as well not exist.
Yeah, I mean, I'm on Gab, and there's very little action going on there. There's very little interaction. I mean, you can see other people's posts, and you can like them, and you can comment, but you might not get a response to something you said to somebody else for like days. It just, it's not like it doesn't have an energy. It doesn't have a lot of immediacy to it.
Well, not only that, but you have these apps on your phone, right? So you can just click on Facebook. You can click on Twitter. You can click on YouTube. I can't just click on Gab.
Yeah.
It doesn't work that way. So most people, they're not like going and typing in gab.com and then putting in their username and their pet. I'm sorry. Americans, they're not doing that. That's not happening. It's too difficult.
Gab has a case. I mean, I don't know why they're not suing. Just don't know why they're not suing. They totally have a case there.
You're talking about the reason that they can't get an app.
Yeah.
I haven't seen if they are suing or not. Maybe. Do you know for sure that they're not?
If they were suing, you would think that they would, that we would hear something by now.
Most people don't even know who they are.
I try to advertise for them, but
isn't that part of the problem?
And then BitChute, that's another one that I promote a lot. That seems a lot fairer than YouTube. And Alex Jones is on BitChute.
There's a lot of conservatives on BitChute. Now, BitChute, my issue with BitChute is when I go on there and I share it, I've had people come to me and they're like, it doesn't play for me.
Yeah, sometimes
And
it doesn't work because it's a smaller operation. They don't have all the servers that YouTube have. They don't have like a gigantic building in Silicon Valley that's just packed with servers.
see,
You
that's
know,
our problem. See, that's our problem with sites like this is because Americans, whether they're conservative or liberal or whatever, indifferent, they want instant gratification, and
yeah,
that. You know it. So if they go on and they can't get it, it's taking time to load. They're off.
yeah. Well,
You're
BitChute
losing.
usually works, but when you mentioned that, I went on and it worked right away, and then I went on later in the day and then it wasn't working. And I've seen
It
it not work before, but it's not all the time. It usually does work, but I don't know.
Well, it's a good site. At least you can listen to conservative shows
Yeah,
and not feel like you're being watched. Um, I want to get into the second topic with you. So this Ocasio-Cortez, she backed a candidate and he failed. Is running as a Democrat for the governor primary in Michigan,
yeah.
and this guy was a known member of CAIR. His name is Abdul El Sayed.
Oh, great.
It was the candidate. Well, have you seen this story?
Not totally, no.
So there were four candidates that she backed, and they were all socialist, and some of them connected to CARE, and two of them were Muslims.
Right.
El Sayed lost his bid for the Democrat nomination for governor. He only got 34%, according to the numbers published in the New York Times, which I'm guessing they were probably even uh, lower than that if it's from the New York Times. And then Firuz Saad in Michigan's 11th congressional district lost fourth in a five-way race, capturing only 20% of the vote. And Cori Bush lost her primary to William Lacey Clay. 30% she got, the time results show. Now, I wanted to ask you, though, is this a good sign for America as far as this radical socialist movement asking for the abolishment of ICE, asking for free college, asking for Medicaid for all that stuff that this Cortez pushes and Bernie Sanders pushes, and all the folks that she backed lost? Is that a good sign? Some they lost to Democrats, but let's just say that this might be a beacon of hope. What do you think, CV?
Well, considering that we're only 3 months away from the midterm elections, it's a very good sign.
Right.
Because we're so close in proximity. They're gonna have a very hard time recuperating from this, you know.
Right.
So I think it's a good sign. And I don't know about this Cortez woman. I don't even think she's gonna win the election. She won a primary, big deal. So we'll see.
She's scary to me. I was watching her the other day, and now this posted this video of her explaining her platform and what she believes in, and they edited it very carefully. And then I actually went and watched her interview, no edits.
Yeah.
She can't even speak for 5 seconds without saying
Oh yeah, right.
I want to give everybody and I'm like, here I go saying I'm thinking to myself, this woman's educated. This woman has gone to college.
Yeah.
Why is she speaking like that? And then there was this funny meme they put together. It's her with a Coach bag, an iPhone, and a pair of designer glasses. And they're like, this is the woman pushing against capitalism?
Well, you know what? She is in a very staunchly Democrat district, so perhaps she will win. I don't know, but I'm very optimistic about the midterms though, because everybody that Trump endorsed is winning.
Mm.
So it's going to be a Trump red wave rather than a blue wave in the midterms, in my opinion. Not that we don't want to be complacent. And so we want to make sure that we get our people out to vote.
Yeah, you're right. And, I think that part of what Donald Trump does is very crafty. He'll come in at the last minute, night before, and endorse a candidate. And he'll totally shock the world because that candidate will win. It is especially hilarious when he does it to a never Trump Republican. I love it when he does that.
Yeah.
And they so deserve it. And it really shows you that these people are not on the pulse of the Americans at all. They don't know what the American people want. Donald Trump is laughing his rear end off every day of the week. And, it's true. I mean, the guy just keeps winning,
Yeah.
Look at what the economy's doing. Look at jobs, look at GDP, look at the fight against ISIS, look at our military. There's been some things I don't agree with. The tariffs with the farmers. I've remained silent against that because you know why? I'm not going to push back against the president. I decided. You know why I'm not going to do that?
Because he gets enough grief.
Because he gets enough grief. And you know what? I need to just support him in the things that he's doing that are right. Yeah. I didn't really like the Kavanaugh pick, but you know what? Kavanaugh's not a bad pick.
Yeah.
He's not the perfect pick. But you know what? I can't get everything I want. I can't get, the ultra uber conservative to fly in because you know what? If Donald Trump does that, the left is going to go ape shit.
Do you know at every one of his events and rallies, he ends it with the Rolling Stones song, "You can't always get what you want, but if you try sometimes, you just might find you get what you need." Every single time he's sending a message. He's saying, you can't always get what you want, but we can get you what you need. Well, and so with the Kavanaugh pick, I think it was like a political pick.
Yeah,
at the time, I think I think he was trying to hedge his bets.
There's some things, we had Michelle Owens from the Center of Prosecutor Integrity on with us last week, and I asked her, are you concerned that this guy is a pro global warming type of liberal in some, anybody that pushes man-made, anyone that pushes man-made global warming to me, CV worries me.
Yeah, I know.
And she said, well, I want to have somebody that believes in different things. And, hopefully it won't come back to bite us in the ass. I am concerned about that because I think that whole global warming cabal is dangerous. I do.
And wrong. I agree with you.
I do. I worry about that. But at the same time, I have to let him make these picks. He's got his two first ones. They're good. I think his third one's going to be even more conservative. Yeah. So he just let the man make his decisions and see where it leads you.
When he made the announcement for Kavanaugh and his wife and daughters were there, I was very disconcerted over the fact that his wife just couldn't meet Trump's eyes. Like she always avoided his glance. When he looked at her, she looked away. When she looked at him, he was already looking away. Like they could not lock eyes. And that tells me something about, body language does tell you things.
Oh yeah, and sure.
I feel like she's a big Trump hater. I think she watches all that, left stream media crap, propaganda, and she probably thinks he's the worst thing since Hitler.
Well, that's when, if you remember when Kavanaugh got picked, I was throwing a fit. I was like, this is horrible. He's the worst candidate he could have picked.
Yeah.
And, I think there's something to it. He was a Bushy. He helped Clinton get off. He was part of the Clinton investigation, but eventually said, let it go, basically.
Yeah.
And I don't like him, but
as what Mrs. Owens said, that as long as he's an originalist, a constitutional originalist, we should be all right.
Yeah, as long as he doesn't push this wacky stuff that we were just talking about, I guess we'll be okay. Yeah. So, in California, they decided that they're going to remove Trump's star.
Yeah.
Something we've been talking about the past couple of weeks is the destruction of the Hollywood star. It's gotten to the point where some maniac came in with a pickaxe and destroyed it.
Yeah.
The West Hollywood City Council passed this resolution Monday asking to have President Trump's star removed from the Hollywood Walk of Fame. Now, the mayor spoke about it, and the mayor in West Hollywood said that they don't have the ability to protect the star. That they've tried. I don't know if that's true or not.
Well, we can't have an armed guard around it 24 hours a day. Unfortunately.
Okay. You really feel that way, or you think that? I mean, it seems to me.
No, I don't think that's the reason. I think I'm just saying. I'm just going off on a different
paraphrasing.
Just on a
what he's thinking.
Point.
Yeah, I mean, and
he's not wrong, but that's not the reason he did it. They did it.
Right. So here's the thing. Every time the left throws a shit fit and stamps their feet and says rip it down, they get their way. It's the same thing they've done with these monuments for Confederate soldiers. It's the same thing they did in Columbus Square, changing the name.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, where does it end?
It's going to end with a punch in the face if they come near me. I'll tell you that much. I mean, sometimes I watch YouTube and I watch the Antifa, acting up and getting in people's face and trying to block people from walking down the sidewalk. And I confess, when a patriot hauls off and knocks them in the face and knocks them down and knocks them out, I get a thrill out of that because they so deserve it.
Absolutely. I love it.
I mean,
110%.
We don't start it, but we'll finish it. So you want to keep it up. You're going to keep getting knocked down because we're bigger than you and we're tougher than you. And that's that. But the other thing is with that city council, they unanimously decided to remove Trump's star.
Yeah.
And they cite the reasons was because, he insults minorities and women and attacks women and minorities and this, that, and the other thing. That is such a lie.
That's such bullshit.
It is such a lie. Like you people on the left don't attack your opponents.
And here's the other.
Every race, color, and creed too. They attack them.
And here's the other thing. Talk about attacking people. They have multiple rapists with stars on that Hollywood walk. What about Kevin Spacey? What about Bill Cosby?
Yeah.
His star remains. Do I have to go through the laundry list of people?
I wouldn't want them taken down either. I wouldn't want them taken down because now they're part of history.
And I believe, I'm not sure if this is true, but I believe Harvey Weinstein has a star over there.
Probably does.
Now, if I'm pretty sure he does. I know Rob Reiner does, and I don't know anything about Rob Reiner. I don't know if he's. No, I'm just saying.
He's just crazy.
If it's okay, but if he's a liberal, if you're a liberal, they won't take it down.
I know.
That's the point. It's because Trump, is the Trump conservative movement is offensive to them, so they will remove it.
Yep.
It's such bullshit, especially when they're defending rapists.
And this all started under the Obama administration. Obama's doctrine was reward your friends and punish your enemies. And he preached that at every rally. He preaches that behind closed doors to his friends, to his inner circle, to his outer circle, to any of his supporters. They all know that Obama says, get in their faces, and
if they pull out a knife, you pull out a gun.
Yep.
You bring a gun.
There's no rules of morality. It's just beat them at any cost.
Can you imagine, CV, on Trump's campaign trail if he said, well, if they bring a knife, you take your gun out?
Yeah.
Can you imagine the outrage that would have ensued after that comment? But Obama says it, and because Obama is this well-spoken man from Colombia, he gets away with it.
And that same Obama doctrine, getting back to the earlier topic, is being adhered to by the left stream media and the social media networks. They're They're breaking all the rules. They know they're breaking all the rules. They know it's a double standard. They have no shame.
Yeah.
They're not trying to protect anybody's feelings. They're just trying to get an edge on the next election because they're trying to keep their friends in power. That's what it's all about. That's really what it's all about. If they really cared about people's feelings, how come they don't care about my feelings, about shadow banning me? How come I can't enjoy Twitter like everybody else? They don't give a flying fuck about my feelings. Sorry.
Well.
Hey, you shout too sometimes.
Hey, listen, I can't even get on my Facebook account.
See, they don't care about your feelings, Chet.
You know what it is, CV? I don't even yell about it anymore because I'm a voice in the wilderness.
No, you're not. You're not alone. You're not alone.
I have exhausted myself to the point where if I go back on there, somebody else flags me. I have gone through my friends list. I have looked through every option that I can. Because you know what? My Facebook account originally was not created for my political disdain. It became that over the years.
Yeah.
But it was to put pictures up of my kids, for my family to see it. Yeah. I even had people messaging me, hey, man, what's wrong with you? You don't talk to me on Facebook anymore. And I'm like, I'm done with Facebook, you know? Like this account I have now, I will put up pictures of my kids, but aside from that, it's purely for Freedom on Deck.
Yeah.
You know, that's all that it's for because I'm exhausted. I can't, you know, I'm not going to win against them, but I'm not going to quit.
You know, and people think that, you know, I'm only posting about current events and political things because it's a hobby, or I do this instead of being interested in sports or entertainment or something like that. No, it's because I have a brain in my head, because I care about my children's future, because I want to see I would like to see my great-great-grandchildren, you know, I won't be here, but maybe I'll be watching from the sky, you know, thriving in a free country. Maybe I don't want my country turning into a third world hellhole. Shithole.
Thank you. And you know what? It's the same, you know, for those of you that listen out there and you don't use your Facebook account for the same reasons that me and CB do, how would you feel if you were posting about the New York Yankees or the Boston Red Sox and someone didn't agree with you and they took it down?
That's the same thing almost. Yeah.
You'd feel the same way. And it's, you know, I've never put hate speech on Facebook. It's borderline, I will tell you.
No, but they use that as an excuse. They use that as a disguise as to why they're shadow banning you. It's all for political reasons. They want their candidates to do better. And that's the bottom line. That's all it is. They don't care a whit about anybody's feelings.
And you know, Michael Savage put it out perfectly today. They've got the guts to take Alex Jones down, but they don't have the guts to take Louis Farrakhan down. And that tells you all you need to know. Here's a guy that's calling for the wiping out of Israel and Jews in the world. And Mark Zuckerberg, who's supposedly Jewish, will not remove Louis Farrakhan from Facebook. Think about that.
And I love these people who say, you know, don't sink to their level. Be better than them. Look, I'm not trying to be better than them. I chose a side. I stand with America. I stand with Israel. I stand with the Patriots and my people. What's wrong with that? You want to see your people? You want to see your mother, you know, debased and raped by Muslims, or do you want to protect her? You know,
exactly.
Why do you want to be a traitor against your own people? Where's the nobility in that?
I'm done taking the high road.
Exactly.
The high road doesn't work anymore. I've tried it. I've tried it for years. You know what? President Trump made me see that the high road doesn't work. Sometimes you have to punch your opponent in the mouth before they punch you in the mouth.
Yep.
You have to do it. And you know what? I'm not going to apologize for it anymore. If people want to come on like they've done with our terrestrial show and tell us, you know, you guys are a little offensive, you need to tone it down, don't listen. That's all. You know, don't listen. We're going to be on the radio regardless. Trust me, I've got enough clout on this FM station. They're not taking me down.
Yeah.
So good luck with that.
It's funny how standards matter to them when it comes to our behavior, but when it comes to their own behavior, they have zero standards at all.
And these were conservatives telling us this.
I know. Wimps.
That's what pisses me off. You know what it is? These conservatives have become so deballed.
Yeah.
That it's a joke. You can't even take him seriously anymore. It's like, I don't want you to listen to my program. You have no guts.
That's why we call them cucks sometimes.
That's right. Listen, we're coming up against it because we've gone a little over 30 minutes. I would give out all the guests, CV, but we've got a bunch of politicians that are messaging us because of the primaries right now. We are going to have a few of them on, but I can't say exactly who they are and when it's going to be. I can, but I don't want to because I have to talk to everybody tomorrow. So let's just leave that quiet for this episode.
We'll leave it as a surprise.
Yeah, we'll leave it as a surprise. This weekend's show is going to be great. You're going to want to come and listen. It's 3 to 5 on 94.9 News Now and Stimulating Talk. That's 949newsnow.com. You can also listen to us on TuneIn Radio. It's Eastern Time. Listen there. And, of course, get all the backtracks on FreedomOnDeck.com and all the midweek podcasts on FreedomOnDeck.com. Hey, CV, another good discussion with you, man, and I'll talk to you on Sunday.